when you're in the entrepreneur world, a lot of times it's like, hey, I like you, you like me, you do cool stuff, I do cool stuff, let's partner. And it's literally like a handshake that sometimes turns into millions and millions of dollars. Is that kind of what happens? How do you structure these deals?
I'm very, I don't know if I would say stubborn, but very laser focused on the fact that when we partner and we bring in the product, I'm always like, we own the IP of the product.
You mentioned you always want your partners to walk away cash positive, even if you lose. Can you tell us a time where that's happened to you and paid off in the long run?
This is a small world, even though it's not, right? But especially you get into these partnerships. And people know who are the people like, oh, you got burned by them too.
A question for our audience, because we have a lot of people, listeners and watchers, ClickFunnels users, who are looking to get started. And if you guys can hear that music behind me, sorry, Russell Brunson's going on stage right now. I don't know if that's coming through my audio.
Welcome to ClickFunnels Radio, the podcast that brings you the latest strategies, insights, and success stories from online marketers just like you who utilize funnels to grow their business. Our mission is simple: to help you unleash the true potential of your online business by harnessing the power of funnels. Join us every week as we bring you exclusive interviews and thought-provoking discussions that will revolutionize the way you approach online marketing. Here are your hosts, Chris Cameron and Ben Harris.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of ClickFunnels Radio. We have an incredible guest here today, somebody that has done insane volume of sales through being an affiliate, having their own products as a vendor, through different affiliate networks and some others that we're specifically really excited to dive into today. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that we are a little bit remote, kind of living the nomad lifestyle today. But our co-host, Chris Cam, and Chris, tell us about kind of where you're at right now.
Oh man, this is crazy. And I feel this is wild too. Like you can see the whole raccoon thing happening with me too. I'm in Bryan Head, Utah, and we had, like, it was super, super sunny. We went out in the afternoon yesterday and skied a little bit, and I am just burnt. My poor kids. It's crazy. And then you're in Boise right now. You're in Inner Circle, aren't you, Ben?
I am. Yeah, we are here with Russell Brunson's Inner Circle today and tomorrow, but going to be masterminding, having a ton of incredible presentations. It's where we get to meet amazing people like the guests we have today. So even, kind of enough about us, but we are incredibly excited to have Abhi Dwivedi. Abhi, how are you today, man?
Doing amazing, guys. How are you guys doing? The first thing I noticed when we got on the call was like how sunburned you are right here.
Oh man, it's embarrassing. The raccoon goggle line, man. I should have used more sunscreen.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I'm doing great, guys. Thank you for having me.
Abhi, where are you located?
So I'm based out of Dubai in United Arab Emirates, and awesome. Been here ever since COVID started. I used to shuffle between Dubai and Bangkok before that for about 5 years. And just made this a full-time home after in between of COVID, actually. Really,
I've heard a lot of people moving there. I'd love to hear kind of the journey of how you ended up there pre-COVID. Like, have you always been doing partnerships? Like, where did your online entrepreneurial journey start? Was it partnerships, or how did that get going?
Oh yeah, that's a really long story. So, I'm really old in the industry. It started when I was 15 years old. I'm 33 right now. 32 right now. 32. I started when I was 15. Back in the days, I don't know if you guys remember, there used to be this prominent internet marketers forum called Digital Point. We're talking 2001, 2002.
Wow.
So I was 15. What I used to do create WordPress themes. And we would sell do follow links at the footer of those themes for $20 a pop. And we would have 3 links in the footer. And we would then publish those WordPress themes in a lot of WordPress directories. So people who would buy do follow links would start getting SEO juice from all those WordPress sites where our themes would be installed. So that's how I got started when I was 15 years old. Then I did a lot of CPA up until my 20s. We were one of the first few people. So I used to live in India back then in Delhi, and we were the first few people to start using content lock CPA offers, if you guys remember. Then I got started into creating and selling WordPress plugins, and since then we've been creating different SaaS products and just 2017, 2007, 2008, I've just been creating software products and launching them. So it's been a mix of some solo products, solo ventures, and a bunch of partnerships as well, where we've partnered with people who had software products. We've helped them market and sell, got them to the market. And then we've also partnered with people where we had products and they had better marketing or better audience that we wanted to reach out to. And it's been a mix of everything since then. So since 2007, 8, we've just been drilling down, very hyper focused on software. And then I think 2013, 14 was the time when I was shuffling. Like I moved out. I was living in Bangkok back then. And then since 18, I've been shuffling between Bangkok and Dubai. 2020 happened and Dubai is home since then.
That's awesome, man. So you've done a ton with SaaS. Is that kind of how this whole partnership journey started? And I'm curious, when you structure these partnership deals, I always love this because, when you do big, corporate America or whatever, and there's these mergers and acquisitions, it's so interesting. And Ben does this all the time. I used to do this, when you're in the entrepreneur world, a lot of times it's like, hey, I like you, you like me, you do cool stuff, I do cool stuff, let's partner. And it's literally like a handshake that sometimes turns into millions and millions of dollars. Is that kind of what happens? How do you structure these deals?
Literally, it's literally the same process, to be honest. A lot goes into your gut feeling when you meet somebody.
Yeah.
You have to pick a partner based on your intuition, your instincts, your gut feeling. And when you go to events, you travel, you meet a lot of people. A lot of people have brilliant ideas. A lot of people have brilliant products. A lot of people have brilliant teams and marketing and audience. It's just that you need to connect with somebody you actually think listen, I can work with you. I can be who I am and deliver what I can. And, when shit's going to go south, we know we can handle that. So I think that's the number one key when it comes to doing partnerships. And then it also depends a lot on what we both want out of the deal. And I'm very, I don't know if I would say stubborn, but very laser focused on the fact that when we partner and we bring in the product, I'm always like, we own the IP of the product because this has to go in our balance sheet at the end of the year. Because when we exit from this company or whatever that we try to sell, it has to be, in a single entity instead of I'm just sharing all the revenue with you and then you're paying me out in back. Because we want to make sure our EBITDA looks strong, our P&L looks positive, and it looks something when an investor or a buyer looks at it, they understand what's going on. So that's one of the key things that I'm very, very laser focused on when we do the partnership. But then at the end of the day, for me, partnerships is all about me trying to make my partner as much money as I can. There have been deals where I have lost money just to make sure the partner walks away with a cash positive, because you'll have a different product, you'll have a different partnership, you'll make the money back, but once the relationship bridge is burned for whatever reason, it's very hard to get back to that thing. So,
do you ever test okay, we'll start with something that's totally transactional. We're going to go do a joint venture webinar, or I'm going to promote your book or something. And then if that works well, then you jump into maybe a more long-term partnership.
So there's a cool story about it. This is something I'm very, like I said, stubborn about. When I do partnership, I want to make sure my partner makes money. It's a win-win, but if it's going south, they at least walk out cash positive. But there was this one time I did a very transactional partnership, and it was a brilliant product with this developer from Eastern Europe. I don't exactly remember the country, Latvia, I think. But it was a brilliant product back in 2015. And we did a very transactional partnership, but it went south in a way. It's a very long story, but I got blocked by Facebook. I got a cease and desist letter from Facebook lawyers. And the guy just took away with everything. I was like, yeah, that's just the first and last time I'm ever going to be doing a partnership where, it's very transactional. I'm just pushing away all my gut feeling and intuition, just going after the money, because, it just doesn't work out so well in the long term.
That's crazy. And Abhi, I would love to hear a story around, kind of piggybacking off that a little bit, but you've mentioned you always want your partners to walk away cash positive, even if you lose money. And obviously, with Facebook, that's a whole different deal. But can you tell us a time where that's happened to you and paid off in the long run?
I mean, that happens quite often, I would say. So I'll give you a little example. When we do product launches, especially on JVZoo, so a product launch model works in a way. We go live on a specific day, and then we have a lot of affiliates promoting us, and we're doing like an opening contest when we open the car for the first 24 hours, for 48 hours. We do a contest. Anybody who sends the most sales as a leaderboard, top 1, top 2, top 3. So often what happens, like sometimes we allow people to team up, right? So the two people can team up so they can combine their gross sales and be higher on the leaderboard. There was this one time, and the rule about team up is like we need to be told about the team as vendors from the affiliate before.
Yeah, that's fair.
Once the contest starts, we don't allow that. So there was this one time, everything was fine. The contest was live. I had teamed everybody, but I forgot to team 2 people. So they were showing up individuals in the contest, but they had told me early on that they wanted to team up. So it was my mistake. Where I messed up. So I teamed them up a little bit later. The moment I teamed them up, they showed to number 1. And the guy who was number 1, he got pissed off. He was like, listen, dude, this is not how it's going to work. Because he was like, I'm winning $5,000. Now I'm suddenly dropped to $3,000, right? So I'm losing $2,000 just on the prize money. So I was like, listen, it's my bad. It doesn't matter. As long as you are on number 2, we'll pay you the same price as the price for the number 1 because it was not your fault. You saw what it. So what happens, like that person and that guy he was promoting us for the very first time. He was a YouTuber who was reviewing the product and posting on it. He had massive audience, and then he went on to promote at least 3-4 other products of ours in the next 24-month span. We did about 150, 180K revenue with him. We gave him a lot of extra commissions and everything. So, that little 2,000 extra that we spent helped build a better relationship and kind of put us in a way where he thought that, we're more ethical, we're more happy to pay out our partner as long as, it's a good business deal.
This is a small world, even though it's not, right? But especially you get into these partnerships and people know who are the people like, oh, you got burned by them too. Like the little things like that, especially, as an affiliate manager or anything else, screwy things happen that you didn't think of before. I love too, like team ups have to notify before. Like we've had this, Ben, like where we've had people be like, oh yeah, no, we're working together. We're like, dude, no, you're not. Like you didn't tell us or whatever. And, but that's genius. Like you have to seriously take your partners and treat them like your customers because it has to be like Pedro Adeo, who's in our world. Like he's the challenge guy. We were at a mastermind in Mexico and he gave a whole presentation on these partnerships. And one of the things, and I know other people have said this too, but this is really when it stood out to me, is he says, the formula for successful partnerships, 3 things. It's win, 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 right? It's got to be a win for your partner. It's got to be a win for you, but ultimately how you know that it's a win, and this is not monetary or anything else, is that it is a win for those customers, right? What are you bringing to the table? What are they bringing to the table? Everything else. So is it different though? Like once you do like transaction or you do a launch, is that different than this long-term partnership with like a SaaS company? Like what are the differences and nuances that you have to pay attention to and how do you structure that?
Right. So when we talk about a short-term partnership, I'll give you an example. It's like a product launch, right? You bring on a JV manager on board to partner up with a JV manager and you split whatever you want to do. We usually do 40-60 depending on how much traffic or how many affiliates the JV manager could bring in. Or if I'm partnering in a way, I'm doing the marketing and somebody else is bringing on the product, then we still do 60-40. I take 60, they take 40, depending on how much sales I can bring in to the short-term launch. But for the short-term, we always do 60-40 for the first 60 days. And
is that because of refunds?
No, so again, for refunds, I'm very transparent. I'm very open. I'm like, as long as there are refunds, I will cover it. It doesn't bother me. But just for the marketing, just for the sales, the ad cost and everything, we stop running campaign after 60 days unless it's like really, really profitable. Sometimes products do really well, sometimes they don't do too well. So we keep a blockage of 60 days and that's about it. But for long-term partnership, it's ride or die sort of a situation. Like, if you partner up on a product, you are with the partner till we exit the product. So, everything's 50-50. We always do a 50-50 partnership. All expenses are shared together. All the work is shared together. We try and map out what each other's responsibilities are, which is very, very critical because we don't want to be in a situation, a year down the line where we're like, you're not working enough and I'm putting in more weightage and all that stuff. We try and iron that out. We put that in agreements and, we try and stick to that. And again, these kind of deals, these kind of partnerships only work when you are actually partnering with somebody you actually like, somebody who likes you back, somebody who understands how you move, how you think, what you try and do, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's wild. And even from the listeners that we have and viewers who are brand new to affiliate marketing, would you? And this is I'm about to take like 2 steps back, so I apologize in advance. But even go over what it's like to be an affiliate versus a vendor and both.
So affiliate essentially is somebody who has an audience, right? And they're trying to monetize their audience, right? And you promote a specific product to your audience. Now, the tricky part with the affiliate, you have to always be honest and true to your audience. You can't be promoting some random junk to your audience because you could do it a couple of times, you'll make money 100%, but then you will lose the trust. Yeah. And keeping your trust with the audience, making sure they like you, they support you back, that's the most critical thing. When it comes to affiliate, I think the biggest takeaway would be to do your research and only promote products where the vendor, the seller, the product here, you're actually going to be supporting the product for a long period of time. They are actually delivering on the promises on the sales page, on the funnel, and the product actually works, right? And it's a good congruent product. Like, don't sell weight loss pills to people who are looking to, learn baseball.
Right.
Their audience is very close, but you don't want to do that. So be very, very niche focused. It's very, very important. Even in internet marketing niche, if you're in MMO or BizOp sort of niche, you'd think, I can just promote any sort of BizOp offer, or I can promote any sort of internet marketing funnel builder sort of product. You have to find what you are talking about with your audience, because that's why they are following you. They might be following 10 different people, but they're probably just following you because you talk about funnel building, right? And that's why they listen to you. So the product that you recommend has to do something with what do you teach them or what do you talk to them about usually and normally. At the end of the day, I think it all boils down to promoting products that actually benefit your audience. If you find a product that benefits the audience and is a good deal, keep promoting that as long as you can. The audience are going to love the product. They're going to love you back for promoting and recommending that, and you'll make money. That's simple as that. And Bob, when we talk about vendors, that's a completely different ball game, because now you're building products, right? You're creating a software product, or you're creating a course. Then you have to take a wider view, and you have to see what's the problem out there and how can I solve that problem. Biggest issue that I see with a lot of software creators, especially even course creators in our market right now, and I talk to a lot of people in the Affiliate World Summit that happens in Dubai every year. A lot of events happen in Dubai, a lot of mastermind. People are trying to come up with solutions to problems that don't exist, right? You're trying to solve a problem by creating problem. It doesn't really exist, but you're trying to solve it. And then you are like struggling with coming up with the sales hook, the funnel, the marketing, the ad copy, the ad creator, because the problem doesn't exist. Right? You're trying to solve something that people are not looking for a solution. So sometimes you have to look for problems that exist and find a unique way of solving those problems. right? If you can't do that, if you can't find a problem and you can actually find a good solution to it, you're golden. The marketing is going to be super easy. The sales copy is going to be easy. Your BSL is going to be easy. The funnel is going to be easy. Everything's going to be easy because the problem exists. People are actually asking for a solution. And when you build that solution, you've already done 50% of the work. It's similar to what Henry Ford once said, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit as well. When you ask people, what do you want? They would say, I want a faster horse. Because sometimes they don't know what they want, but the problem exists. They need something faster, right? So a lot of people tell you should survey your audience. Sometimes the audience doesn't know what they want, but if you can figure out the problem that they're going through, you can come up with creative solution. And there could be multiple solutions to the same problem, right? So it's not just oh, my competitor already came out with a solution. No, you can come out with something better, something different. And yeah, if you do that, you're golden.
You are also in JVZoo. You're top 3 affiliate and then top vendor for 4 or 5 years now. Do you have any tips on things that maybe you're doing differently than other people that keep you on that leaderboard? What differentiates you?
So I think when it comes to vendor or creating product, we literally do what I just told you. We look for problems and we try to come up with creative solution. And then we also try to present those solution in our marketing in the most sensible way. So I'll give you a very, very simple example of something we did in 2020. We created a product where you could take these conversations like we had this podcast, right? You could upload this video. The software will extract the audio, chop down the audio, and transcribe it, create chapters, and convert those chapters into sort of educational videos. So we were like, okay, you can repurpose your podcast or repurpose your YouTube video. And that sort of sounds good in a technical way. But when you're trying to sell to a BizOp or internet marketing audience, that wasn't a very appealing idea. So we were like, okay, we have the product and this is what the product literally does, but let's repackage it in a way that makes sense to the audience. So we were like, you know what? Here's a product that lets you turn your knowledge into a course that you can sell, right? So if you have YouTube videos or if you are just walking in the garden and recording audio on your phone, you can upload that and the software will convert that into video chapters that you can then combine and create a video course. And that clicked with the audience. And we went out to do about 1.2, 1.3 million in about 18 months with that product. So I think coming up with great solution is very, very important, but then also making sure your audience understands the use cases behind those solutions, right? There's a problem, but then they also need to understand what other use cases they can come up with. And I think that's what we really focus on, trying to come up with use cases around the products that we create, around the courses that we create that helps or resonate with the audience based on what they're looking for. That has helped us be the number one seller on the platform. And again, at the end of the day, the goal is never to be the number one seller or number two seller or anything, as long as we are building solutions that make money to our partners and are bringing results to our customers. Those are the two things that we mostly focus on. And as long as those are balanced out, sales come in.
Yeah, that's key. That's awesome.
Yeah, so what would you say about the awards that are over your shoulder there? I'd love to kind of hear about them. And even you mentioned some affiliate networks that you're involved with. Could you take us through, why you've chosen those affiliate networks and then what type of recognition you've had with them?
Yeah, so we right now exclusively work with JVZoo for two primary reasons. Number one, Laura is amazing, the CEO of JVZoo. She was here. We did an event in January. We invited a lot of vendors and affiliates into Dubai. We had a massive event. She was the keynote speaker. I love her. She's amazing. And the second biggest reason is JVZoo is the most compliant network when it comes to FCC compliance. And when you're doing anything in the internet market, when you're selling anything online, literally anything, you have to be FCC compliant. There's no other way around it. And there are other networks, I don't want to name them, but they're usually a little bit more casual about the products that are approved on them. JVZoo usually goes through the copy, the funnel. They try to make sure that the product and the marketing is compliant with FTC, and that helps in two big reasons. Number one, it's a big thing for us because they are looking into the compliance for us and trying to point out the errors that we might have in our marketing that could get us in hot waters with FTC. So that saves us extra work.
That's massive.
Extra law. That's huge. That's huge. And
especially in the entrepreneurial world, most people just go like wing it, right? And then they figure out if they get slapped. We had actually a few episodes back, we had Anik Singhal on here, and he told us his whole story. And it's fascinating how he's pivoted to really lean into this. And I think more and more marketers, especially affiliates, like you think you're just throwing it out there, but understand too, if they're promoting your product, that can kind of put you in on it. So that's a key point I want listeners to hear, as well as like, make sure you understand that the things that you were saying, even if you don't have somebody backing you up, like Abhi saying with JVZoo, right? Make sure that you have somebody who can keep you compliant instead of making outlandish claims just so you can make a quick buck.
And
because they will hunt you down and they will find you.
They're doing it. They're really, really at it, and that's why I think shifted his entire focus from all the other things and courses he was sending to just FTC and being teaching people about FTC compliance, and
huge niche.
Yeah, and I think that's what JVZoo is really, really good at, and being standing out, and they're very strict about it, and that kind of can sometimes be a little bit of a pain to deal with because, like, I just got the whole explain funnel and video shot. Now you're telling me, those
I can't say that.
Are bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's such a pain. Like sometimes, like I remember, we were really short on one of the launches. The VSL was ready, and then they were like, "Yeah, you can't say that." We had to go back and reshoot it. But it helps in the longer run. Even see, we're not a US based business. We're based in Dubai. We're based in UAE. So, in certain ways, FTC doesn't really apply to us. But when you look at the long term picture, if when we exit, and we sell to a buyer that is a US based company, they would get into trouble. So we want to be sure that we're compliant to FTC, we're compliant to GDPR, we're compliant to all these different legal entities, and it's just better marketing. It's cleaner marketing, and a lot of people are like, when you get to FTC compliance, the whole direct response, the whole marketing goes away. It's just not gonna sell well, dude. It sells.
It does. You just do it a different way, right? People and the consumer's sophisticated too. Like a lot of times they're tired of hearing like the cheap, easy wins, and it makes them skeptical. And so when you become compliant, like it's almost like growing up in business. You're more mature, and people can see through that, and you're more established for sure.
Well, customers are a lot smarter than they were, a decade ago.
For sure.
And they definitely see through the kind of language and the tone and the copy, and it can be a turn up actually. So, we've been compliant, and we've never seen a drop in conversions, be it warm traffic through affiliates or cold traffic with ads. So, JVZoo is one of those networks that really looks after those sort of things, and that saves us a lot of money. We don't have to have a lawyer looking at things all the time. And the awards that we have at the back are just for being top in the platform revenue wise.
Congratulations, man! That's awesome.
Yeah, that's very admirable, especially for such a big platform like JVZoo. And a question for our audience, because we have a lot of people listeners and watchers, ClickFunnels users, who are looking to get their first couple of sales online, right? Get started. And if you guys can hear that music behind me, sorry, Russell Brunson's going on stage right now. I don't know if that's coming through my audio or not. But for someone who's just getting started, would you recommend them taking the path of being an affiliate or a vendor, and why?
Okay, so again, it entirely depends on what they want to do. If you have an audience, the best thing to do is to start as an affiliate, start promoting products that resonate better with your audience, because what that will do, that will give you instant recognition with other affiliates and other vendors. You will be known in the market. You won't be some newbie walking in. But if you have a product and you wanna launch that product first, and you don't have an audience, the the best thing would be to find a partner, somebody who has done good launches, has a good track record, and can get affiliates on board. So you bring in the product, they do the marketing, you guys go 50-50 each way. What that will do, that will establish you in the market. You will be known when affiliates promote your launch and it does well, they will know you. So you're prepping yourself up to do solo launches without partners in the future. And of course, you make sales, you build an email list, then you can go ahead and start promoting other products that are more congruent to you as an affiliate as well.
Very cool. And even for you, tell us about, what's next for you. Do you have any product launches down the line? Are you looking to promote things?
What gets you up in the morning? What gets you excited? What are you working on now?
What gets me up in the morning? I'm poor. I need money. I'm greedy.
Typical entrepreneurs. Just kidding.
It's a funny conversation. Last month, I was invited to attend an event in New Delhi in India by a friend of mine, Karthik Ramani, who runs this massive events. There were like 2,500 people there. And wow. And I got there, and one of these guys walks up to me. It's like, I follow you on Instagram. Tell me what gets you excited. What's the key to success? I was like, dude, I just fucking don't know. I'm just greedy. I need a lot of money. I have expensive taste. I have expensive taste. That's just it. That there's really no guru mantra.
You got to feed the habit, feed the taste.
Yeah. But I guess at one point I've struggled with being motivated. When I say motivated, you get up in the morning and you're not excited to be on the desk. You're not excited to do what you usually do because things get monotonous, and try a lot of things. I guess things that usually help me the best is time blocking my day, where I try to do things that are more fun, more exciting for me in the first couple of hours when I'm in the office, followed by all boring things. So I try and do brainstorming or building product ideas or doing calls with the team, because that's what I like to do. But if you try and time block, because once you start your day with things that you like, your body will do that hormone thing, whatever that happy hormone is called,
dopamine,
and you get in that focus, right? And once you're in the focus, you can get through the boring part.
It's a great tip.
So if you time block, start with the good thing, get dopamine running, and then you go through the boring thing. And then there's this one thing that somebody told me when I was really, really young, was never be afraid to work. And that's something I stick by it. Like, it doesn't matter what happens. You get up, you show up all day, every day, all the time. I remember when we were doing the event in Dubai in January, just the day before the event, something happened. I got a bug in my eye and I couldn't open it. I was like, fuck, I got an event tomorrow. And Laura was speaking on the stage that day, and I was like, okay, doesn't matter. I'll show up. I'll be there. And Laura was on the stage. David was doing the mic. I was sitting at the back with an IV up my nerve, sitting like this. And I was like, yeah, I have to show up. And then in the evening, we had a cocktail party. Everybody went for drinks. And then right after the cocktail, I had the doctors come up, give me another injection just to make sure.
Holy cow.
Things are still there. Like, sometimes you have to be stubborn with yourself, and you have to show up and be there, get things done, no matter how tough or boring or monotonous things get. That's the pathway to whatever you're trying to achieve, right? It's not straight, it's not simple. You have to keep at it. As long as you're stubborn about it, you'll get what you want.
I think that's a great mic drop too, is I think perseverance and hard work, you don't know where that goes sometimes, but if you show up for yourself and your audience like every single day, your goals happen. But it is sometimes monotonous. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's hard to keep going. And so I think that's a great way to end this too. So tell us.
I'll read you. I'll read you something I have on my wall over there. That's exactly what you just said. It says, discipline will take you to places where motivation can't. So that's the difference between motivation and discipline. As long as you're disciplined to get to the desk and get through that, boring, monotonous work, you'll achieve what you're looking for.
Well, you keep at it, man. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. And if there's any way we can help too, shoot, that's what we do. We'd love to, help and see if we can partner in different ways too. We'd love that. Hey, before we go though, I know people would love to learn more about you. I mean, you have social handles. Is there a product that you've got currently? Where do people find you?
Well, the easiest way to find me would be on Instagram, instagram.com/Abhi, ABHI.DW. That's it.
Very cool. Well, dude, thanks so much for showing up for us today, especially from the other side of the world. We're all spaced out everywhere, but this was awesome. I think it's going to be some great nuggets for our listeners. And as always, Ben, love having you on here. And on to the next, guys.
I love it. Thanks, Abhi.
Thank you for having me, guys. You guys have a great day.
See ya.